As a voice actor and a narrator, especially one that does a lot of long-form narration, I'm always on the lookout for tools that can help me refine my craft, to streamline my processes, and ultimately help me produce top-quality content, but to do so quickly. And with the rise of AI in various industries, there's been a mix of anticipation, apprehension about its impact on our profession, the voice acting profession. Well, today I want to delve into one such AI-driven solution that promises to be a valuable ally rather than a competitor trying to put us out of business. If you're a long-form narrator and you need to proof lots of your audio for correctness, then the product Pozotron may be the product that you've been dreaming of. I know it has been for me because I've tried to make a similar product myself unsuccessfully. It leverages AI, proofreading, and so forth, to proof your work for a variety of issues. Not only adherence to the script, but also for things like unwanted noises and so forth. I've been using Pozotron now for a little while, a week or so, but it's already changed the game for me with respect to my workflow, and I have been able to easily integrate it into my workflow. So yes, I am a paying customer of Pozotron. A recent audiobook that I turned in, the publishing house, they sent me back my QA pack that was generated by Pozotron. So I've sort of seen it a little bit from both sides. I do want to say up front, this is not sponsored content. I'm not sponsored by Pozotron. I just want to talk about the product and show you what it can do and talk with the folks who are responsible for it. So with that in mind, it's my pleasure to introduce the CEO of Pozotron to talk about their product with us. It's Adam Fritz. Adam, thank you so much for joining us. I've been a short time user of Pozotron. I only recently discovered the product, and I will say that it is really, I've been able to integrate it into my workflow right away. It's actually been pretty easy to work with. But I was wondering if you could, I know it's not brand new, could you give me a little bit of a quick history of how Pozotron came to be where you are now?
Of course. So Pozotron was founded in 2017, mid-2017. And launched commercially. Our first customer payment was December 2018. So it was about a year and a half in development before we launched commercially. And the company was founded by our founder, Jake Poznansky, really with the goal of using AI to make audio production easier, specifically scripted audio production easier. When I go to a party and people are asking about my job and they say, oh, audiobooks, I love to listen to audiobooks. And I start going into explaining audiobooks or any other type of voiceover, going into how long it takes to produce a single hour of content, in some cases, 10, even 15 hours of work to produce a single hour of content. Our goal is to get audio production and scripted audio production as close to that golden ratio of 1 hour of work to 1 hour of audio produced as possible. And so that's where the company's, why the company was started and how we've gone over the past almost 6 years now of development, really trying to make the job of voice actors easier, faster, and more efficient.
Well, it certainly has, that's a great goal, because certainly when I talk to a lot of new audiobook narrators, a lot of times even they don't understand that it can be, if you're brand new to it, it can be like 10 hours of work for a finished hour. Even someone who's experienced, I've done, my handful of audiobooks. I'm still at like 3 hours per finished hour. And a lot of that is in the QA process, because you have to just go back, no matter, even if you're really good at punch and roll or you're a really good cold reader, you still have to go back and listen to it for any kind of extraneous noise, breath noise, your gait isn't doing the thing it's supposed to do. So this is a great goal. Has it always been AI first? Like, was it AI back in 2018, or have you transition the technology?
No, the technology from day one it was the core of what we're building today, using algorithms, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. The core of our technology is a tool that matches speech to text. So it is not something that, there's a lot of companies out there doing synthetic voices. That is not what our software does. You upload a script and you upload your audio file, and our system matches the two together and gives you an output of every mistake made in the narration. So missed words, added words, mispronunciations, pauses, noises as well. Really, the goal is think of it as spell check for your recorded audio. Our tool will catch every narration mistake that a narrator makes.
I tell you what, it was definitely a game changer for me. Once I uploaded my first script and my first audio, and seeing how fast and accurate it was, because I had tried to invent this sort of thing myself. Like I, would upload it to, translation services, or not translate, speech to text services, and try and download that speech to text, trying to push my audio back through like into Google Docs, just trying to get a version of it. But then doing the, in computing, we used to call it a diff. Like you were trying to diff one script with your other script. It would be just a wall of differences because of the formatting. So whatever little bit of, pixie dust magic you guys are doing behind the scenes to be able to read a PDF and do all that matching up, it's really been astonishing how well that matches up.
First of all, thank you for the feedback.
Sure.
We support Word, PDF, and DocX, or an EPUB format, I should say. And I think one of the most unique things about our tool is many other technologies actually refuse to accept PDF scripts because it's actually quite a flawed file type, unfortunately. So we've spent hours and hours and hours looking at every single individual PDF issue that might come up and putting a fix in place. So if we face an issue once, a user doesn't face it again. And the fact that PDFs or scripts are created in many, many, many different ways. The most challenging often are the ones that are built in Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop, which is not a word processing tool for sure. And we want to make sure that any PDF submitted or any script submitted into Pozotron is read perfectly. So then it will match to the audio you've recorded perfectly. People are paying for our service. They expect it to work. So we put a ton of effort into both the audio and script processing.
It definitely shows. Like I can think of I submitted a chapter from an audiobook when I was learning how to do it. And the chapters, the pages, they were just a PDF of the book itself. So a lot of the pages had the title of the book and the page number on it, but those weren't flagged as, missed text. Somehow it was smart enough to understand that the title that's repeated on every page and the page number, those weren't showing up in my pickup list. So your algorithm is working somehow.
Between that and footnotes and other peculiarities of the script, we've built really unique tools to make sure that those don't show up as mistaken false pickups, essentially, because every false pickup wastes your time. And
Sure.
We work really hard to make sure that doesn't happen.
So we've talked a little bit, we're sort of talking around the product. It probably makes sense if you have a couple of minutes. Could you just give a brief demonstration of what a voice actor's experience might be once they've submitted it?
Of course.
I think that would be really helpful. You probably, know the product better than I do at this point, so it probably makes sense for you to do the demonstration.
I've given easily 1,000 of these over the last couple of years, so let's make it 1,001 bad. I'm going to show off not only the proofing tool, but I also am going to show off some of our script preparation tools designed at the pre-production end of a scripted voice project.
Great.
So when you log into Pozotron, you're going to click Create New Project, enter your project title, upload your manuscript, which, as I said, can be PDF, Word, or EPUB format. And then Pozotron is going to process that script. And I'm going to click up here on pronunciation. And what this does, if I click on Open Suggestions, this gives an output of every word Pozotron believes your average narrator may not know how to pronounce. So I'll just add a few: the character name Dinah, anthropological, antipathies, and idiotically, and we'll do one more down here. LibriVox, hopefully there we go. Okay. So you can also choose your dictionary. So we offer Oxford US, Oxford UK, Orvo, and Merriam-Webster. In this case, I'm using for Merriam-Webster. If that word is found in the dictionary, so let's take anthropological, for example, it brings the text, or antipathies here, for example, it brings the text and it brings the audio file. So it gives you the antipathy, not antipathies, but here we can go idiotically here or anthropological. So it brings that audio file back to you. As you can see, occasionally Merriam-Webster will will send us through their API a slightly incorrect one. So let's say, for example, I want to switch that to Oxford US. I can research it here. Then Oxford will give me
anthropological.
There we go.
There we go.
There we go.
So it brings the text, the phonetic text, as well as that audio file.
So could you just do antipathies again? Because it didn't come through the first time.
Of course. So once you've added those words to your script, or to your list, I should say, it will bring the phonetic text and audio. So here's an example of antipathies.
Antipathy.
Unfortunately, Merriam-Webster, their API has sent us the word antipathy. So if you want to switch and search a different dictionary, as I can go here, I can switch it to Oxford US. I can then click the update research word button, and antipathies. Antipathy comes back with Oxford. So correct pronunciation gives you the singular version there. Here's an example of the word LibriVox, which is a public domain audiobook data set where we sourced some of the elements of this data of our demo packet, I should say. I can hover over here, see up to 5 examples of that word in the script, and also click these buttons down here to open up different search links for How'd You Say, Youglish, and many others. And in this case, I'm just going to type in, of course, now my A key is not working. So I'm going to type in the correct phonetic pronunciation as well as record LibriVox. So it's a very powerful tool to allow you to collaborate with other people on a project, get all those correct pronunciations, and stop pickups before you even start recording. We also have a character voice guide, which does something similar, allows you to add, parses your script, gives you all the character names. And then in this case, I'm going to add Sherlock here. I can add it up here. And then you can add a character photo that speaks to how that character should be acted or pronounced. You can add notes about the character. So obstinate detective for Sherlock Holmes. You can also add up to 10 lines of dialogue, add in some notes about that character's voice, as well as record a sample of you speaking up to 30 seconds in that character's voice to refer back to later. Going in now, you've done all of your pre-production work. You can actually export a marked up script that will highlight all of your research words on a PDF script automatically for you and include your notes. Now what you're going to do, you've gone in, you recorded all your audio, you're going to drag and drop it down here, MP3, FLAC, or WAV format. And now the real magic happens. This is the script here. Every red underlined word is matched with the details of that mistake on the left. So I'm going to, just for brevity's sake, I'm going to skip right down here, and we're going to listen to about a minute of audio here.
Our audio proofing tool is designed to catch the key mistakes your narrator may make during narration, including words accidentally added into the script by the narrator.
So you can see the script is words added into the script, and he inserts the word accidentally here at 4222. I'm going to click pick up.
Words missed from the script. Of course.
He omits that should be narrated. You can see it's underlined in red here. Words missing that should be narrated.
Of course, it will find misperceptions and misspoken words.
Very clear. He says misperceptions instead of mispronunciations. Mark that as a pickup.
Pauses longer than 2 seconds. Noises, including audio distortions, synthetic sound issues, and natural noises like a dog barking or a fire truck siren.
So you can see here it catches pauses. I'm going to mark that as long pause, say that's going to ruin the pacing of your work. Noise detected, this is a hard clip. I'm going to tag that as a pickup. And then it's also detected animal, domestic animal, pet, dog, bark, bow, wow. Going to mark that as a pickup. And then we've also got the motor vehicle, or the siren, I should say. So now that we've gone in and done our proofing, there's a couple things you can do. You can go in and export instead of what you normally have to do, which is manually type out a whole list of all of your mistakes, import, export, pickup packet, click export, and then you are just going to do your pickup recording off of here. So you've got the text, the slate number, the details, the timestamp, as well as the original voice match file.
Including words accident.
The real magic, though, is you can actually export DAW markers, which will then export a marker file directly into Pro Tools, Audition, Reaper, any of those DAWs you've got listed there that will actually show exactly where each of those pickups needs to get recorded and edited into your file. So as you can see, end to end throughout a production, it's a game changer for your proofing, QC, even your pre-production. We have a number of other tools. For brevity's sake, I'll not go into those, so it's not a half an hour demo here today. But if you do have any questions, feel free to reach out because we always love getting on calls with narrators and new potential customers and showing the breadth of all of our tools.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So hopefully that gives everybody watching a sense of what the tool can do. I will say that I think I mentioned this at the top, but I've submitted an audiobook and I've gotten that Pozotron packet back as my QA pack. And just that pack, it's clear that you've put a lot of thought into it. And you must have talked to a bunch of publishers and narrators, because that pack very closely matched the workflow that I need to do in order to conduct those pickups, in order to actually make those pickups happen. Given the exact timestamp, giving the context, giving the few sentences on either side, that makes it so that I don't have to go back and pull up, chapter 8 of the script to try and find it before, because that's what I used to have to do, is to try and find it. Now giving that lead in and seeing it, hearing the reference audio, it really does make the pickup process a whole lot easier. I still go back into my DAW, of course, and I make that pickup match perfectly. I still do that work, but it saves so much time in the ability to find and get started on that pickup. That used to be sometimes a 3 or 4 minute process per pickup. And if you've got 50 pickups in a 10-page, 400-page book, that's a lot of time. And this made it so much easier. So I got that back from a publisher, but I've also, as a voice actor, I've been using it to pre-proof my work before I send it off. Can you talk about sort of maybe are there different pricing models for that? Like, how do you price that out?
Of course. So on the proofing side of things, I should say, everything is based on per finished hour. So however much audio you upload, and it's a volume discount. So for more of the individual narrator who's doing their own proofing before they submit it to a client, you're looking at our pay-as-you-go rate, which is no commitment, no subscription, is a flat $12 per hour of audio you upload. That is charged down to the minute. So you upload 30 minutes, you're charged $6. And then we have volume price breaks at 4, 8, 16, 25, 50 hours in a month, and on and on and on beyond that. So really, it just depends how much audio you upload. You're going to be paying less on a per hour basis.
That's
all of our plans are month to month, I should also say. So if you've got one really busy month with 50 hours of audio you're going to use, and then the next month you're down and you want to shift down to, a 4-hour plan, month to month, you can change up and down with no penalty. We're big believers in flexible subscription models to make sure that we keep long-term happy customers rather than them, paying us for services they're not going to use.
For sure. That makes a big difference. For me, I've been doing the pay as I go. $12 per finished hour. That's a good rate. That's a good rate for me. And so I've just been, now I know I can just sort of upload, whether it's a 5-minute script, an hour-long script, or a whole audiobook. I can upload that and still have a pretty good sense for what that's going to cost. And so the publishers, they're just buying bulk hours. Is that sort of how it works? And they can upload for, it doesn't matter how many different narrators, how many different scripts, it's just pure hours.
Exactly. So really all the volume discount comes at various price points, but you're basically committing, say you're on a Publisher 100 plan. You're basically committing to 100 hours in that month for a flat rate. And then everything beyond that 100 hours is charged at a slightly higher rate, but still a significant discount based on that pay-as-you-go rate. So we work very hard to make these pricing models very flexible. So as long as you have a good handle on your production volume for the upcoming month, you can tell us, hey, I need the 100-hour or 150 or 200-hour plan to maximize your savings on a per-hour basis.
That makes sense. It's worked for me with my sort of basic American accent. Does this work? Is this English only? Is this any language? Are accents problematic? Like what's your breadth of audience that could use this?
Well, so that's a very good question. If you couldn't tell, I am Canadian, eh? So let me answer your first question. Languages, we support English, French, Spanish, German, Swedish, Norwegian, and Finnish, and are just about to launch. We're filming this on a Friday. On Monday, Danish, and Dutch as well. So we handle a lot of non-English content as well. From an accent perspective, all of our, let's take English, for example, all of our audio is in one major database. The majority of that is your standard American pronunciations, but we do have Canadian, Australian, British, Irish, and many others. Generally, what happens is our algorithm handles pretty much every accent with equal accuracy. About the only thing that you will get maybe some additional false pickups are accents like Irish, for example, that drop consonants. So instead of pronouncing it 30, they pronounce dirty.
Right.
Or if you're voicing a pirate that has a really strong accent and is purposefully mispronouncing words, those will give you a few extra pickups. But you do also have a way to control the sensitivity of our algorithm from relaxed to extra sensitive, which will then limit the number of false positives for that heavily accented pronunciation as well. So we want to make it very flexible. We're a believer in what we call Swiss Army knife development. Our tool is customizable to your workflow rather than you having to change your workflow to incorporate Pozotron.
That's great. And the background noises. So it identified dog barking and siren and things like that. When I got my QA pack, I think some of that said it was in beta. Is that something that's in? Do I have that right? Is that something that's sort of in progress now? So that's
So it's very effective and accurate, I would say. There's a couple things that we still say it's in beta because what we've done, we've rolled out. We're now in our second version of our noise detection algorithm, but we're basically at this point, we're flagging all these noises for customers, and you can actually now control the sensitivity of our noise detection algorithm as well. But we are asking customers to report when Pozotron detects an incorrect noise. So there's a little button there.
I've turned those in.
Perfect. Where it says, this is not actually a dog. And so then what we do, once we have enough of that user data, we retrain our algorithm and it gets more and more accurate and pulls out some of those extraneous false pickups.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So it's an ongoing thing. And it's sort of learning from all of us collaboratively. Just like with the pronunciations. That's cool.
Exactly.
That's cool. I also want to say, we've talked about AI here. I'm really gratified that there's actually in 2023 and before a product that is AI. Like, as we know, AI. I know that there's probably more behind the scenes that's not just AI. There's machine learning and so forth. Mm-hmm. But there's like this human first sense of AI. This is an AI that's really here to make the human's job easier, rather than to put me out of business. Is that been a mission of yours, or like?
It definitely is. I'm going to read directly off one page on our site. Pozotron is a company that cares deeply about the art of audiobooks. We're here to use technology to enhance the telling of your story. Essentially, we are here to use technology to make your job easier and not do your job for you and replace you. I believe that there's a saying that's become quite common in AI circles. You're not going to be replaced by AI. You're going to be replaced by another human who uses AI to do their job better, faster, and more efficiently than you are.
Sure.
So we believe, I personally, and the company as well, believes that audio storytelling, regardless of if that's corporate e-learning or telling a fictional story in audiobook format, is a human endeavor and a human art form. However, there's a lot of very manual and menial steps in the process of creating that art that can be automated. I personally don't want to listen to synthetic voiced audio. I just don't. I've actually played it for my kids as well, and they don't enjoy listening to it. It was a test. But there are many steps in the process, just like writing a book on a typewriter will take infinitely longer than it will using Microsoft Word with Grammarly attached to it. Using Pozotron for your audio production versus not using Pozotron will dramatically speed up your process and end up with higher quality audio, more accurate audio, and something your listeners will enjoy listening to more.
So that brings me like my natural skeptic question is, well, now you've got this big long bit of audio. Is there the pickup button could certainly be, well, we'll just create a model of your voice and have it voice the pickup. Is you mentioned before that the synthetic voices is not in your model. Is that something that you're sort of standing by? Like the human's going to do the pickup? Is that sort of what you...
So one thing I want to touch on just very briefly is what we actually do with the audio. And that is it's spelled out in our terms of service, is that we can use audio and scripts uploaded to retrain and improve our algorithm, provide troubleshooting and support. So if you have an issue with a project, we have to access that project to actually figure out what's going wrong. And then optimize our services. So that means, we have to process the audio to actually allow you to proof, because we have to compare the script and the audio. It also, our terms of service preclude us from using that audio to create synthetic copies of your voice,
Great.
as well as for mapping the performative elements of human speech to then improve the quality of synthetic audio. The one thing that I could see us doing, and it's actually been requested by a number of narrators, is allowing you to record, to create a synthetic model of your voice under your control that would be limited to 1 or 2 word corrections. So if the script says, I see a green tree, you can change, but you read, I see a tree, you could actually just say, okay, Pozotron, insert the word green there. It will not be something that is suitable or intended for long-term use, and for long-form use, I should say. We're nowhere near launching anything like that, but that is about the one tool I could see us going down. And again, that is not replacing the human. That is making the act of 4 minutes to record a single word fix easier and faster.
Yeah,
we're not there yet, but that is one thing that I could see us doing. But the biggest protection for our customers is the legal contract between ourselves and the uploader or the user of our tool specifically precludes us from copying your voice, selling your data, all of that kind of thing. We're very, very detailed and open and forthright about exactly what we do with user data.
and I'm super gratified by that, because I remember I tried to read through that terms of service when I was signing up to make sure that I wasn't inadvertently, we hear about, like in the AI space, like people inadvertently giving their model of, their voice away as a model because it isn't specifically prevented and so forth. So that's very gratifying to know that you're actually thinking about us as the people, as the employed people, that we're not, in doing our work, we're not accidentally giving away the farm, as it were.
Yeah, your voice is your livelihood, and we understand and respect that.
Yeah, that's fantastic. As the CEO, have there been any rewarding moments that you've had? Have there been any serendipitous moments that you've seen people doing with your product? Has been anything like that?
We get a lot of really fantastic customer testimonials. On a personal note, some of my kids' favorite audiobooks have gone through Pozotron. So that's pretty cool to see. And to hear, when they're listening to something in their rooms, I'll go in and say, hey, just, that was produced using Pozotron, which they're 6 and 8. They couldn't care less.
Sure.
It makes me happy. I would say, hearing from narrators that they're able to take on more work, that they're getting better at their job. A big publisher customer, came to us recently with a testimonial that the first ever project they ran in Pozotron, they budgeted, I think 35 hours in just in the first proofing pass. And they did that work in 17 hours by using Pozotron. So just hearing how much more effective and efficient people are using our tool. And I think the thing that's most gratifying is, to be totally honest, what we were talking about with AI and data, there was a lot of fear around Pozotron 2 years ago, that people weren't sure exactly what we were doing and thought, oh, this company's going to pivot and do synthetic voice. And I've spent a lot of time doing interviews just like this, speaking at conferences. And now we had one of our customer outreach managers at a voiceover conference in Dallas about a month ago, who's been with our company for about he'd been with us for about 3 months at that point. And he said he had multiple people come up and give him a hug and said, I love Pozotron. You make everything so much easier. So that kind of thing is really rewarding, that yes, we're running a business, we're trying to make money and build technology, but we're actually helping people do their jobs easier, which is quite rewarding.
Well, I can give you a testimonial, because just in the short amount of time that I have been using it, I've used it on two sides of it. So I've gotten the audiobook pickups that I got back. The QC pack made it so that I could work through the pickups faster. I knew exactly what to look for. I knew exactly what was called out. So that made my part faster. But I've also been able to make my non-publishing clients happier, because I have now, every work I've submitted since I've started subscribing, I've not had any pickups come back from any customer, because they all got done faster. And it doesn't, and I don't have to, I can still turn around my scripts really fast to them. So if I've got these really short duration, I get it this morning, I got to get it back to them this afternoon, I can do that much faster, because I can be recording chapter 2 while chapter 1 is being proofed by the AI. And in working that, so I can actually multitask and scale up what I can do just myself. So it's been, I know it's just just in the, 10 days I've been using the product or whatever it is, I've already integrated that into my workflow, that I just know it's going up to Pozotron so that I can keep working. So it has definitely increased my throughput without removing the human part of it, right? I'm not doing synthetic pickups. I'm not doing any of that stuff. I'm still doing my work. It's just streamlined me so much more.
That's fantastic. Time is money, and voiceover actors work very, very hard. So if I look at it, if we could save you 30 seconds, it's worth it, because over the course of, a 7-hour audiobook or even a 30-minute narration, those 30 seconds are going to add up to significant time saved.
Yeah. It's the truth. I mean, because I've only got my one voice. My synthetic voice, believe me, I've experimented with synthetic voices, and I have not been able to put out one thing with my synthetic voices, and I've tried 3 or 4 different ones. None of them have been even close to using the synthetic voice. So my only effort, the way that I can scale myself up, is by increasing my efficiency, because I still got to make the words come out of my face. But everything else that I can do that isn't the talking part, every place that I can streamline. If anybody's been through my configuration classes and stuff like that, it's like everything is fast, without sacrificing quality, and being able to sort of scale myself up through this process has been really great.
Agreed. The advice I give to, sometimes unsolicited, I guess, to narrators who ask, what's happening with synthetic voice? What should I be doing? The only advantage synthetic voice has over human voice right now is efficiency. They can work faster, and in theory, it's designed to be more accurate, though it isn't actually yet. If you can find ways, whether it's with Pozotron or using something else, to catch up to this, is that the robots essentially on efficiency, you are going to be so much further ahead, because a synthetic voice, no matter how good it gets, is never going to be as human and expressive as your voice. So if you can find the tools, find ways to optimize your workflow to become more efficient, because then, you're just going to stay ahead of the robots, because they're never going to be as human as you.
Words to live by. I mean, that feels like the perfect closing to our interview. That's perfect. And I think that really is sage advice. Adam, I'm so grateful for your product. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to talk to you about it. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to let me share it with my audience, who I think will find value in it. I'm really grateful for your time. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you as well. And for all the listeners out there, if you do have any questions, www.pozotron.com. You can book a demo with us, send us an email. I would love to get on a call with you, show you how the tool works, answer any questions you have, and I can guarantee it'll be worth the 20 minutes of your time. Thank you very much, Mike.
Thanks so much.